It's Leafs Talk with JD Bunkus and Sam McKee. Hit that thumbs up if you're watching on YouTube. Like, review, subscribe on the podcast platforms. Do all the kind things. You know what to do. Another milestone for Matthews. 66 goals. Here's a cool stat. More goals in a season than Ovechkin ever had.
Hadn't heard that one. Like that stat. It's a good one.
Great stat. Seriously, though, like, that's a stat, buddy. Hey,
yeah.
You know the guy who's going to finish with the most goals ever? You had more than him in a single season. Pretty sweet.
Really sweet. 66, now 70, well within his sights. You'd love to make fun of me for him not wanting it. It's a great bit. It's a great bit that you make fun of me for. I fully accept the bit. No, it's fully accept the bit. I accept the bit. It's good. I love the way that it's happening.
Yeah.
That these goals are going in and it's accompanying the most dynamic stretch of play I've seen from Matthews maybe in his career. Like, I think this is the best, the most true center, the way he's played, the way he's elevated Domi, Domi's elevated him, the way Bertuzzi's playing with him. Like, I love how it's coming naturally and it doesn't feel force fed. And I'm all in on this version of Austin Matthews. I haven't enjoyed watching him play like I have for the last, 2 or 3 weeks. It's been excellent.
Brother, this is what my case was always, though. It's that you keep this guy scoring goals, you keep him engaged in this hunt, and you're likely going to see the best version of him. I will say that there is a little bit of the Leafs right now of, hey, we're forcing him the puck. Except for I was joking with you in the text that Tavares is like the only guy on the team where he's like, I don't care. How many goals do you have?
he's like what are you chasing?
Yeah, it's like, oh, wow, really? And Bertuzzi actually firing that empty netter.
Selfish, just
sneaky, hates
scores Matthews. One right into the middle of the net. He's like, I need a contract, pal. You're rich.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, buddy, what are you on, your 4th contract already? I need my first big banger. Let me have this. Let me get 21 pops. But yeah, I think that there's definitely a little bit of it to their game, clearly, right? Like, they're hunting for it at times, and they'll be forcing the puck and giving him a few extra looks during the game, but you can't really be too upset about it because A, he's the best goal scorer on the planet, and B, it's okay, sure, they're chasing Florida, but they're not playing irresponsible hockey. And okay, this sounds a little far to say. I know it sounds a little ridiculous, but I'm actually pretty proud of the way the Leafs have played down the stretch here, chasing the Matthews stuff. Like, it hasn't gotten ridiculous. I don't think that there's been a game since the last New Jersey contest where Keefe called him out where they've been like dogging it, or that they've looked completely unstructured, or that they're just trying to play pond hockey or all-star game hockey in order to get Matthews the 70 goals. Like, I feel like they're getting rewarded because they're doing it the right way.
Yeah, and we've had some moments with this team where they've been chased. Like, remember that one time when Marner was going for that point streak for the Leafs?
Yes.
And he was on the ice with the empty net and they were force feeding it. He was firing it down. It was just not a pretty thing. I just think he's unbelievable at hockey, and he's just gonna score goals, and they don't really have to force it. And listen, like, we talk about how elite of a passer Mitch Marner is, but Domi is he is a elite playmaker as well. It's not like he's gone from playing with a guy who can't pass to another guy who doesn't pass. Like, Domi is a guy that snaps it around. Like, they flashed up that graphic. I took a picture of it so I could have it in front of me as I quickly pull it up on my crappy slow phone. The 5-on-5 assist leaders, the men in front of him are Connor McDavid, Nikita Kucherov, Nathan McKinnon, and Leon Draisaitl. And that's the end of the list of people in front of him with 5-on-5 assists. Like, this guy is an elite playmaker. So it doesn't surprise me that Matthews has, continued to score at this rate, but it just looks and feels so much different with Domi than it does with Marner. Matthews just has the puck so much more.
Dude, I gotta say too, that pass Domi made tonight to Bertuzzi.
Yep.
Like, can we roll that one? Because Matthews the 66. I think let's just say this way. At this point, I might even get my book to put up a bet for this. But I feel like if you were betting Matthews to hit 70 at this point, you like the money would be like even odds at this. Like, it's an even odds bet. Like, we're right there with it. Yeah, I think it's even. What, you think it's still more unlikely than it is likely?
I would say, like, I don't think even. I'd say plus 175, plus 180 at this point. He still has to get like a goal every game here.
Yeah, I know.
He's not on pace yet.
They're going to play these guys again. on Thursday.
Yeah. And this is 3-2-1 Cabo mode here. I don't know what the saying is. I have not sure I've seen a more checked out team. They put their superstar under the knife. They were forcing them to play hurt, and they're like, all right, we're officially out of it. Time to go, get this shoulder surgery, ruin your golf season, Jack Hughes. And it's over now. And they were not trying tonight. That's as checked out as I can remember seeing a team.
I just want to say that if Matthews lands on 69, that is going to become some form of shirt. Someone's going to be making some 69 nice Leafs logo, like Leaf stuff. Yeah. It's going to be all over the place. Like people are going to own that shirt. That shirt's getting made. Okay.
I've seen a popular sort of, percolating around X and on the text line at 590 that he's going to finish on 67 and it's going to activate the ghosts. And that's going to be the thing that unlocks the Leafs curse. And it's like the 67 parallel with the last time they won the cup.
Yeah. Oh, I get. Oh, yeah. No, I didn't. I wouldn't have been able to.
Have you heard? Have you heard? Yeah. I only get it in my mentions like 4 times a day.
Here's
the thing. With the parade planet.
Yeah. I got to tell you that all the cups that Canadian teams have won is so long ago that 67 and 93 to me is no different.
Same thing.
Like,
same thing.
Same thing. And I know that's going to trigger some asset right now. Like if you're an Oilers fan, you're bringing up like Gretzky. It's like, yeah. Have you seen what Wayne Gretzky looks like now? Like
same time ago.
Man. Yeah.
Same time ago. Agree.
It's the same. Okay. It's the exact same thing. It's the exact same thing. If you didn't get a cup in the salary cap era, it's the exact same thing to me now as everything else. Like if you, like all your guys were the exact same. Anyways, I'm getting off this, but yeah, I don't want to disparage Gretz, but yeah, he's 63 years old. Okay. So like it's
been a while.
It's time. It's time to admit that it's been a while that the other fan bases haven't exactly been ripping it up. So yeah, I want to get to that Domi pass, the other one, because the stick handling on this, the patience on this to find Bertuzzi is just go. And then the snap. Oh, just beautiful. Not going to score an easier goal all season for Bertuzzi. I just love this line, man. Like it really did feel temporary for a moment. And now it's like, I really don't think Marner's going back.
No. And if you're watching on Sportsnet Plus and YouTube, the look off to the net,
I know,
followed by the immediate snap across is just a thing of absolute beauty. He's just an elite passer. And I do worry a little bit about Matthews playing with McMahon and Marner. And I don't think I worry about Marner playing with Tavares and McMahon. Sorry, I was just looking at Matthews there in my bird brain. I couldn't finish it. I think that Marner is still working his way back. I don't think he's close to 100% at like the peak of his powers. He doesn't have the zip to his game right now. But I think that line has had, other than the goal he scored on Saturday night, which was a beautiful pass from Marner to McMahon, they have not shown really any pop in terms of chemistry and all that stuff. So I think that's a work in progress. But the nice thing is you're playing some dogs here where you're going to be able to get, well, I guess, Detroit's somewhat in the snails race for the last place in the Eastern Conference.
They're very much in it.
Yeah, so maybe that'll be more of a high-paced game. But to me, you rip with these lines until the last game of the regular season. Try to build them up as much as you possibly can. And then if you got to go nuclear in the playoffs, I get it. I understand you're going to go back to your old trustees or whatever. But this is the way game one's starting. Absolutely. No question to me.
Yeah, I don't see it. I don't see it breaking up. Like I'm for it. I think they're good. I think they're going to work.
I'm breaking up. Like
I know. I don't think. Yeah, I'm not saying I don't think that
they will. Like, but the way Keefe coaches, like these games mean nothing, and he's trying to build the chemistry. But like that's often been one of our biggest gripes about Keefe is his immediate overreaction to things when things aren't going well. And I can tell you right now, brother, maybe we'll get through game one. It's they lose game one, they're into the second period. In game two, they're down 2-0. They can't get anything going. Marner and Matthews are going back together, bud. Like I think that you'll see them. I think that you'll see them together. I think that they're going to try to ride this till the wheels go off, and I just don't think that it's fraudulent whatsoever. And like, I'm not as down on the Marner, Tavares, McMahon stuff as you are. Like, I think that this has been 3 games now, and they've looked totally competent in every single one of them. And I don't think that they're dominating the minutes in the same way. But like again tonight, they were good. The weird one to me still is like Nylander playing down with the other 2 guys. But okay, this is, by the way, this gets me into one of the other topics though.
Nyes has had more jump to his game lately. Like he has looked much better. You and I were doing a little bit of hand wringing, a little bit, I think, more privately than we were publicly about maybe him hitting his true rookie wall. And it just feels like he's found his legs in the last couple of weeks. Like he's driving the net more. He's drawing more penalties. He's scoring again. He feels like a real threat going into the postseason.
Absolutely. Feels like he's kind of broke through the rookie wall, if you will. Like it just, he was down there, and it's like he can kind of smell the playoffs coming up here. You know, I think he knows that he's got a solidified spot, but there's a lot of options, as you saw tonight with Dewar and Reeves going out of the lineup, Gregor and Robertson coming in. There's Yarncroc still to enter in. Like, I think he knows that he's got to earn a roster spot here heading into the playoffs. I think it's solid. I think he'll get in, obviously. But I really have liked this stretch of games from him. And it's just the physicality. Like he leads the Leafs in hits, doesn't he? Like he's on the, or maybe for the forwards, he leads them in hits. He has a lot of hits for them, or the rookies lead someone in hits. But it's game, whatever, 75, 76.
Always love guys throwing out stats they're not sure of.
No, he does. He leads something in hits. I don't know. Maybe he leads Americans born in Arizona in hits. He leads Leaf forwards in hits. There you go. Yeah. Thank you, Jobo. Much appreciated. I really do think we've seen an uptick here, and he obviously scored against who they played last. He scored against Pittsburgh of a nice pass from Brody. So I've really liked him kind of coming back up here. And to me, I think McMahon's game, if you're like gonna elevate somebody and ride the hot hand here in the playoffs, I could see Nyes going up with Tavares and Marner. In spots. Still like McMahon's game clearly, but I think if you're riding the hot hand here, you're going to go Nyes a little bit higher in the lineup, maybe sneak him into the top 6 for a couple games if you're going to look to capitalize on his hot streak here.
I still think that it's Yarncroc if he's healthy.
Yeah, you're right.
That ends up going there, and that they do the big kid line where they try to put Nyes and McMahon together and create some chemistry that way. It's just that, again, they really... It's a great problem to have, but they've got too many wingers. Like they're flashing up the Nick Robertson goals per game stats, right? Like this guy scores, and hey, good for Nick Robertson. By the way, I think that his new nickname should be called Scratch and Score. Like he gets scratched and then he scores, and it's just like it's the pattern. It's he's gonna come in
like scratch and sniff. That's pretty good. I won't say my really mean one that I sent to you. But I'll save that one for off air. If somebody wants to DM me, maybe I'll give it to them. But it's not. Gord Miller said it best during the broadcast. It's not exactly the book you want.
No,
it's not what you want. Be like, I'm the guy that when I get scratched, I come back and score.
Yeah,
it's not what you want. But
he can finish though, man. Like when he does get his opportunities, like he gets them. Yeah.
Having said that, if you're gonna ride this weird little wave. There's no way for me that he's in game 1.
No.
But game 2, game 3, coming off a scratch. Maybe you put Scratch and Score in there and he finds one for you.
Scratch and Score might be able to get it done. Like he might Scratch and Score might be able to get them a big one. It's a very strange pattern. I don't think his game is going to be conducive to playoff hockey when we've just seen this with smaller guys. Like we've seen Marner struggle with this, where all of a sudden time and space, there's way less of it. And the smaller guys have more difficulty with that still. Like we go through these regular seasons where we say, oh, I don't think size matters anymore. And then you get into the postseason, you're like, oh, wait, actually, yes, it still does.
Oh, the team with the huge mutant decor won again?
Yeah.
What a surprise.
Yeah, like I don't think that he's going to get the opportunities. Like that's a broken play where Jersey's like scrambling around with the chickens with their heads cut off. It's just that when you got to give him credit when the puck lands on his stick in those spots, you feel good that he's got a chance to put it away, right? Like he's confident. Absolutely. He's done. I've said it, like the Nick Robertson discourse at this point, it's been done a million times. Neither you or I are shifting our opinions on him, no matter what he does down the stretch here. But ultimately, what I think he can land on and what I think he can be proud of is, hey, if they have to turn to you in a game, if there's an injury and you got to draw in, it's not a nightmare, which I think a lot of people would have thought it was at certain points of the season, even when he did have some of those scratch and scores.
Yep, absolutely. And to me, he's a guy that, like you said, in the playoffs, need a goal, need an offensive sort of moment for him. You put him in, maybe you get one. But outside of that, he's not going to be a guy that makes or breaks your playoff successes. So good on him for taking advantage of it and whatever. But yeah, our opinions are well said on Robertson. Everyone knows how we feel.
Just trying to go through my notes here. Oh, Gio goal.
Yes.
Got to talk about Gio goal. He rips one immediately after the Leafs tie the game 2-2 after that Domi pass to Bertuzzi. And I just like it's a great shot, but the team reaction is awesome here. Like that's Bertuzzi. Like that's looks like they scored the golden goal.
They love this guy. They love this guy. And you know, I've often said one of my very favorite things about Austin Matthews is that he loves nothing more than when a butcher scores one. Yeah. When a butcher scores one, he is so fired up. Like he cares way more about Gio scoring than when he scores like a normal goal against the Devils. Like he does his big sallies for big goals clearly, and I'm sure he'd do a massive one for 70, he did a big one for 60. But like he was more fired up about this than he was for his 65th and 66th. Like I love that about him. And I think we mentioned this the last time he scored, when he scored the one for his dad, and I'll mention it again. I'm just really, really happy that Gio's getting this stretch of hockey where he's playing, he's contributing, scored a couple goals.
It was
a bomb. Knuckler. Hit it hard right away, right top corner. That's Norris Gio right there.
Yeah,
Peppers hit top corner. Beautiful goal.
So, buddy, he must have scored that goal. He's thinking like, I could get in the playoffs.
I'm back.
Like, why not me? Like I should be game one. I should be doing this.
Yeah. So good on him. I don't know what his playoff, whatever. Like we don't need to get into the nuts and bolts of that when in a meaningless game against the Devils.
We'll save that.
But it's just awesome to see him get one, and all the guys love him. Yeah. I bet you there's a world where he gets the old belt tonight. Hope he does.
Yeah, I think that that's very plausible. I just love seeing Gio score. I love the bench reacting. And you're right though. Matthews does love the butchers. Like he's the number one guy. That camera shot of during the fight. That was the one that Ali captured too, right? That was the Revo fight, or was it the next one? No, it was. It was the Revo.
He did it on both. But he did it in Montreal too. He was fired up. Like he just loves fights.
Yeah, he does love fights. Yeah,
playing with Domi and Bertuzzi, all of a sudden this guy's like a Neanderthal. He's running Sid accidentally on purpose. He's loving fights. Like he's turning Neanderthal.
Did you guys talk? I didn't get a chance to listen to you guys from yesterday because I went to the Jays and I was like, I'm only gonna have 2 Bud Lights, and I did not.
Oh, you're an idiot. 2 Bud Lights.
I was like, I'll just have 2 Bud Lights. I gotta work tomorrow. And then all of a sudden I was at the bar watching the Final Four being like, Zach Edey, why doesn't anybody care about him? Just buckled at the it was not a good scene.
Funny.
But did you guys talk about Matthews hitting Sid?
I saw it after. Yeah, we talked about the collision clearly, and we talked about Simmer getting all fired up. But then I saw that video. Yeah, and you've mentioned this to me a million times, and we got into it about the Marchand play when he knocked Knies out of the game, and how you said like you thought it was bang bang. Yeah, but to me, I don't know if it was necessarily on purpose, but he had a pretty good look at Sid before he ran into him. Like he looked over his shoulder and he looked at him and he took contact.
All I know is that, like guys always say, it's like the bracing is just like that's the first like instant human reaction that you make. And that's what it kind of looks like again to me a little bit, where he's just like, hey, that's a really strong guy. Sidney Crosby. He's just bracing himself. He notices them. But when you slow it down in the slow-mo, and this is what I hate about slow motion, is I don't think it tells you anything really in bang bang sports.
That's
like, it's so fast. And they're like, look, we took it down to the nanosecond. I'm like, that the brain doesn't have that processing power in that split second. To me, he's just bracing himself and he licks it. But I actually, I want to live in a world where he did line him up and he does throw the disrespect. And he's like, that's what we've been craving for Matthews forever. So anybody who's against it just because it's Sid is out of their mind. Like that's all we've ever wanted from Austin Matthews, is to show some nastiness, show a mean streak, use the big body and hit somebody. And then you went, oh, that's strong ass Sidney Crosby. And you put him on the deck,
knocked him down.
You're a beast, buddy. Yeah. You're a beast animal. So I loved it. If it is or if it isn't, I loved it. Anybody else does that to Sid, and I'm like, put them in jail forever.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Austin Matthews, I was like,
McKee ran him
in slow cap.
McCabe ran him into the net and he was flexing his knee. I'm like, McCabe, you got to leave.
You got to leave
the country, buddy. You're done. Sorry.
Yeah, I will
you're
say
going back to Minnesota, wherever you're from, you're gone.
I was going to say an American guy doing it is like worse because I don't even think you're going to feel as bad about it. Like I feel like if a Canadian kid hurt Sid, he'd just be in bed on the phone with his dad, being like, "I swear, Dad, I swear." And his dad's like, "I'm not allowed back at the Elks Club because of you.
I can't go to Tim's on Saturday anymore."
We used to be people in this town. Now we're nothing. You ruined it for us.
So you mentioned there with Matthews and the nastiness, and that's another aspect that I just was thinking about when you were mentioning that. Playing with Bertuzzi and Domi in the playoffs against potentially the Florida Panthers, you're gonna have to be ready for some grease. Like you're gonna absolutely have to be ready to get involved in scrums because you're likely gonna be playing against some guys that love to muck it up, and this is gonna be a factor. So if Matthews can just you don't need a lot, but just buy in a little bit. All Leaf Nation needs to see is a dirty little cross check, a potential little, on the border hit, maybe even a little slew foot, just something greasy against the Florida Panthers. And like, you're the most popular Leaf in the history of the team. Like if you show any grease, it's over for Leafs Nation. They'll love you more than you can ever imagine. So he's going to have to be ready.
Yeah, I still think that he sets the tone for the team with the goal scoring more than anything that we'll ever expect with physical play. But to your point, and I don't want to get back into this because I don't want to debate it, but like, yeah, you're probably right that Keefe, given his track record, is going to try to go back to Marner Matthews at some point and in a big spot and leverage and defending a game and whatever. Like, I don't think that they're not going to ever play together. But the one thing that I hope Keefe has maybe taken from this and why I think he should be reluctant in breaking up that line if things start to go a little haywire in the postseason right away is that I think that there is something to be said for the energy and the style of play in which the other two guys on Matthews' line play with, and that they're energy givers. They're not ever energy takers. And I think that Matthews, part of what you're talking about, where you've seen the demeanor change a little bit, the stretch of play that's been so impressive from him, has to do with the way that those two guys play and the synergy they have from a energy standpoint.
No question. And they don't have, listen, the Marner and Matthews thing, those two guys have been at the center of being whipping boys when it's gone bad here. So having those two guys play with somebody else may be a good thing, I know Tavares has been part of it. I know all that, but like having Matthews play with two guys that haven't been part of those failures could be an aspect of it as well. So love all that stuff from you. Yeah. All good, bud.
All right. Again, subscribe to the podcast, leave 5 stars. So leave us a nice comment. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at JD Bunkus. That's McKee. You're actually in on my pod tomorrow, the JD Bunkus podcast. So subscribe and review to that as well. Oh, but tomorrow I have you and Guns and then Chris Webber. So pretty big discrepancy in guests. Yeah,
that's the best get in the history of the station.
It was like you and Guns, and we're gonna talk about we're gonna do torture Toronto scenarios and Masters preview, and then Chris Webber. So I think I'm gonna Webber. I think I'm taping him at 11 after the show. Because I'm gonna do Myrtle tomorrow. I'm gonna do like a full Leaf blowout show after this game, and then taping Chris Webber at 11. So it'll probably run on Thursday. But you guys, you give me the warm up act. All right, you're the openers.
Yeah, we'll be really good for sure.
Yeah, no, I'm excited. I'm excited to talk.
Tune in to hear me pick about. Tune in to hear me pick the 4-1 favorite Scotty Scheffler to win the Masters.
Yeah, I was gonna say the Sam McKee yearly classic of picking the betting favorite to win the Masters.
Hey, it won last year. Hit last year, baby.
I know, that's the thing. It's every once in a while. Anyway, I can't wait to catch up with you boys. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. We'll see you tomorrow on my show, and then Thursday on Leafs Talk.